commutation of your sentence. Before I get into those details, let me recognize the folks who have joined us. We have here, and I think you can see them on your screen, we have your father, Mr. Bertrand Butler Jr., your stepmom, Norma Butler, and with them also is Rodney Atkinson, your nephew. Your mother and stepfather will be speaking on your behalf, and I see some folks there with you at the penitentiary. Your mother, Ms. Joyce Richardson, Gail Perkins, your sister, I think it's Angela Montgomery's sister, Ronald Rankins, your nephew, and Keith Montgomery, your brother. And since we're limited in speakers, we're going to ask for comments from your sister, Gail Perkins. First, I'll read some identifying information into the record, Mr. Butler. Then your case has been assigned to Mrs. Jackson, seated to my far left. She'll start the interview process with you. We'll hear from the ward, and then we'll hear from the folks that will be speaking on your behalf. We do also have, that's joined us by phone, by Zoom, is Ms. Thelma Baptiste, who will also be speaking at the appropriate time. We'll ask for her remarks. So you are Charles Butler. Your DOC number is 366870. You're seeking commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in March 2004 as an habitual offender to life for an attempted manslaughter out of Orleans Parish. Is that information correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Would you answer Mrs. Jackson's question?
Good afternoon, Mr. Butler. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Your case has been assigned to me, so I will start the questioning. How old are you, Mr. Butler?
57.
And how long have you actually been incarcerated on this charge?
Here in Angola?
No, altogether.
21.
21 years. All right. What's your offender class?
Class A trustee.
Offender class. First, second, third, fourth offender. You were treated as an habitual offender, so you have.
I think it was a 4.
Okay. And what kind of things were you convicted of in the past?
Oh, there was checks.
Okay. Anything else besides check?
When I was a juvenile.
Well, I mean, if you're a fourth offender, are you telling me on 3 separate occasions you were convicted of worthless check charges?
Right. It was 2 for I wrote for a car, and 1 was a company car. And then I had a stroke, and then after I had Bell palsy, so them checks didn't clear. But it was all paid, but it did just send them in different times.
All right. Well, tell us, you were in your late 30s when this crime occurred? 36, 7?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Were you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work were you doing?
I was doing construction work, asphalt work, building state highways and roads.
Who did you work?
Uh-huh.
What kind of company did you work for?
Barrier construction.
And how long had you done that?
15 years.
Well, what about your use of alcohol or illegal substances around that time? Have you ever had a substance abuse problem?
No, ma'am.
Were you a drinker of alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever drank alcohol?
Occasionally for holidays.
And what about illegal drugs, marijuana, nothing at all?
No, ma'am.
Well, what about the day of this crime? Have you had anything to drink?
No, ma'am.
You used any illegal drugs?
No, ma'am.
Well, then you're going to have to help us understand what happened on the day you committed the crime, and I will tell you, it was a horrific crime. So why don't you, just tell us briefly, what you did, to Miss Baptiste and why you did it?
Well, I was getting off from work, and I called Miss Baptiste to let her know I was coming to the car to get a clean uniform out of, because I ain't felt like going to Bell Chase. And at that moment, Miss Thelma Baptiste told me, "Oh, if you see a car in the driveway, that would be Nelda in them." That's some friends of hers, which stay around the corner from us. And I said, "Who?" She said,
Back here, what kind of relationship, were you actually in a relationship with Miss Baptiste on that day?
"But we had just left. I really left because of the kid asking me a question. So we left. I left."
My question. Isn't it true that you and Miss Baptiste had broken up and she asked you to move out of her home? Had you ever lived with Miss Baptiste?
Yes. I live all the time. Ever since I met her, we lived together.
So on the date that this happened, were you still living with Miss Baptiste?
No, I had left. No, I wasn't living there, no.
Okay. And how long had you been away from that, living at that residence?
I was gone no more than a week. No more than a week.
So when you say you left, what were the circumstances under which you left?
Well, I left because the kid asked me what I was going to be mad with the mom for not being there, for helping him with his home. I always went home and helped make sure he did his homework. His mom always got off late. And when he asked me that, he knew about the commotions and the argument, disagreement we was having. So when he asked me that question, I went on and left. And
Take your belongings?
no. The car stayed there, all the computers and the clothes, all that was still in the house.
So tell us what happened the day that you committed the crime.
Well, when I went over there,
Got there and there was a car in the driveway and it wasn't the neighbor's car. Apparently it was some other gentleman's car. So what did you do?
well, I didn't pay attention to the car at first. I just went to my car
Okay.
and got back to the van. And
Okay, and then what?
Then the dim light came on and I knocked on the door. And I said, "It's me." Down over the door. And she said, "No, that's something she never told me." So that's when I hit my pocket for the keys, but the keys was in the van running. And that's when I seen another car. That's when I paid attention, it wasn't Nelson in them car.
And what did you do when you paid attention to the other car?
I pushed the door in.
Why?
Because the house, well, I was just curious about that car at that time. I knew it was an elder in there. I knew that off the bat.
You knew what? I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you.
I knew there was an elder called who she told me it was for.
Okay. And so why did you push open the door?
I pushed over the door after seeing the car, and I just pushed the door in.
What?
For my curiosity. But something was wrong, because she never told me no. She never told me no. And when I hit my pockets for the keys to the door,
Door, and then what happened?
I just went in there and stared at her. I didn't have to say nothing.
Then what?
I walked towards the bedroom, and she said in a very low voice, "No, don't go in there." And that's when I knew. And I entered the bedroom, stood over Mr. Charles.
There was a male visitor in the bedroom, is that correct?
Yeah, and I stood right over him.
And then what did you do?
I left out the bedroom, and then things just started evolving.
I don't wanna hear about things just started.
No, I said evolving.
You got a gas can?
No, ma'am, was never no gas can, ma'am.
What did you use to start the fire?
It was a little plastic bottle containing an accelerant and gasoline. I used to cut the grass with on the porch by
So
the
you got that flammable liquid, and what did you do with the flammable liquid?
Well, when I went out there, I took the bottle off. When I walked back into the house, I was going to my right. Someone was coming at me from my right. I don't know who it was. The house was real dim dark, but I know they had their hands out. So when they had their hands out, I braced for a hit, and the bottom went whoosh. The gas came out the plastic bottle. It was number like a 16-ounce bottle used to fill the lawnmower.
About the, you gotta have fire. Where'd the
Right.
fire from?
So my intention was to damage the house with fire anyway, but not.
Mr.
But when
Butler,
the person came at me, I squeezed it for a brace.
Mr. Butler, that's okay. You do know the victim is here.
I can't hear you, ma'am.
I say you do know that the victim is here. You
Yeah.
do know have police reports detailing the fact that you doused that woman with an accelerant and set her on fire. We know that. I wasn't asking you this because I don't know what happened. I was asking you this to see how honest you were going to be,
Yes, ma'am.
and what extent you were going to accept responsibility for your actions. And you kind of failed on both of those points already, Mr. Butler. You have not been honest, and you have not accepted responsibility. So we'll move on. Now, I do know, Mr. Butler, that you have a good institutional record. You have a low risk assessment. You've only had 3 write-ups. And you have positive comments from the supervisors. You've taken, you've done your GED, you've done KRA, you've done Thinking for a Change, victim awareness, free release, some faith-based programs. You've done some good things while you were incarcerated. Tell me about your 30W that you got in 2007. That was your last write-up. What was that about?
That was at Camp J. I was a tier walker, and my job was to make sure the guys, I guess, don't hang themselves, but just make sure things don't happen on the tier.
Understand?
And this one guy was having problems, so I stopped and talked to him. Captain Reed said I stood in front of that particular cell too long. So he came down and shook the cell down. And right in front of me and the other officer, he went in his pocket and threw the light in the against the wall. It was a boot tier. So I guess he was trying to say I brought the light in after I was being strip searched, after I got strip searched.
Well, what about the contraband in 2006? What was that?
You said contraband?
On 2006, the
No,
contraband.
that's what I'm talking about. That's on write-ups I got, the contraband.
That was 6. The last one was in 2007. It was a 30W. Remember that one?
All I remember is write-ups. Ever since
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I can understand how you might not remember it. It has been a long time in 2007. You took victim awareness. Tell me about victim awareness.
Victim awareness taught me that just because a person does something that that's wrong doesn't mean they in turn need to become a victim. In other words, if a perfect example, if a victim was cheating on her husband that we taught in class, and she goes across a railroad track to see somebody else, but coming home, some guys gang rape and everything. That don't mean, you know, that deserved to happen to her. Because she was doing other things.
That's what you got out of victim awareness?
And I got a victim awareness that it's basically you got a victim supersedes, you know, you got to be careful how you handle a victim. I learned that a victim may be wrong, a victim may be right.
Let me stop you
Wrong
right.
don't make her right.
Let me stop you right there, Mr. Butler. Because we're not gonna get into victim blaming here. But
So,
one of the most painful injuries that you can have is a burn. You can accidentally touch your hand on an oven and have a superficial burn, but it's extremely painful. A burn is also one of the most disfiguring things that you can experience. And I was trying to get from you an understanding of what you have done to Ms. Baptiste. And all I hear is about just because somebody has done something wrong, which means that you saying Ms. Baptiste did something wrong. Well, I'm just shaking your head, but that's the tone of what you're saying. Just because somebody does something wrong. But you inflicted horrific harm on Ms. Baptiste, harm that will follow her for the rest of her life. And my question was to see if you had any understanding of just how horrible what you did to this lady was.
well,
Yeah. Go ahead.
well, in that prospect, I don't know personally what she went through, but during the teaching, I understand somewhat what she went through by seeing graphic videos of a third-degree patient, you know, being cared for, skin scraping and skin grafting and wrapping and unwrapping and what they go through. But I still can't, feel.
Was it necessary for you to take a class for you to have any understanding of what a horrible thing you did to this lady? I mean, why would a class be what would make you understand that? This is a human being. You would understand that. I'm sure at some point in your life you have suffered a burn. And you know how painful burns are. And yet you doused this woman with an accelerant and you lit her on fire. You burned 70% of her body with second and third degree burns. And you're telling this board that you needed a class to teach you to have empathy and regret for what you did. You had to watch some graphic video.
Well, I'm not saying that, ma'am. I'm just saying that's what I was going through my own personal journey to find out, because I ain't going to offer those kind of courses. It just so happened Burl Kane had that program on TV, so happened to see what they go through. But I don't know, I'm not Miss Thelma Baptiste, so I can't feel, but I can only imagine what she went through these courses I took there and what I've seen. That's what I'm saying. It's like you say, it's horrible. It makes you cringe, especially when you see some of the video I watched. That would really made me understand and put things in perspective what she went through, because I never knew, a burn patient had to go through all that. I never knew that.
All right, Warden, what can you tell us about Mr. Butler?
Butler has been a Class A trustee since 2010. Worked as a clothing dorm orderly, maintenance worker, and his current job is working at the Camp A laundry.
That's all I have tonight.
At this time, we'd like to hear from your parents, Mr. Bertrand Butler. Sir, we'd like to hear from you.
On my left, this is my grandson, Rodney, his nephew, and my wife, Norma Jean. My son chose, his religion is a Jehovah's Witness, and as I know, Chose never has been a bad boy. And you hear a lot of fathers saying this about their boy, but I know my boy. He's a good child. And I'm not only saying it because he's mine. Everybody that I meet see he's a good boy. Now, what led up that night for his terrible mistake, I don't know. I don't know what happened that moment. But I do have a good chapel. And this boy wasn't even born when he left. He happened to be 29. And he never seen his uncle, but I want him this experience to see exactly what you go through when you don't think. And that night, my son is plain obvious. He wasn't thinking clearly. And I apologize to the lady. I prayed for her. I can't do no more than that. I can't even imagine what you're going through, how you feel about Joe's. I really don't know how you feel about his parents, but we are some caring people. Although I'm sorry for what happened to you, they're still my boy. And I got to do what a father have to do. At the same time, I'm sorry for what happened to you. I'm sorry what he done to you. I think right now that's about all, but my nephew, Norris Henderson, attempted to get in. He was denied because they had 3 speakers, 1, 2, 3 on this end. And he said it was the limit, 3 speakers. So right now he on YouTube. I thought I'd bring that up.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We knew he was trying to get in and he was trying to speak in support, but yeah, he was correct. But we'd appreciate now. I know that we have your nephew and Mrs. Butler there. We can allow one of them to speak because we have Ms. Perkins, who is at the center, who will be speaking in support. So which of your other family members would like to speak on behalf of Charles?
Well, you want to say something?
No, ma'am.
Do you? Yeah, my grandson.
Rodney? Is that Rodney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Like my grandfather said, I wasn't even born yet when the incident occurred. But first I would like to say I'm sorry, miss, what happened to you. Prayers go out to you. I really am sorry. And now I want to say something to my uncle. I never met you, but all the stories that my mother, your sister, and also my other uncle, your brother, they all told me good things about you, Uncle. I just really wanted to say I wish you took a different path, it's a lot of stuff, that I could talk to my grandpa, but there's some stuff I can also tell you too. So without that mind, it's kind of hard, yeah, it's been hard 20 years, hearing all good things about you, type of person you was. Yeah, it really been hard, but I'm fighting for you. I love you, of course, my uncle, I just wish all well, that's all I can say, really, truly.
Thank you. We appreciate your remarks, and I'm sure you were helpful in setting up the Zoom for your grandparents. Thank you. We appreciate it.
No problem.
We'll move over to the penitentiary, and if we could hear from Miss Gail Perkins, please.
Yeah, you can just stand right next to him. Right here. Right here. You're fine.
Here?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you all for giving me the opportunity to tell you how sorry we are. And I'm speaking on for my family member. And I'm sorry, I'm not a public speaker. I'm not a public speaker. I'm not a person who talks before the audience. But I'm gonna tell you, when you love someone, you'd be surprised at the things you do for them. Miss Baptiste, my family knows, I'm so sorry. We can't say how sorry we are. Believe me when I tell you, you are in our prayers. If I can change everything, I would. But I can't. All I can do now is just try to move forward and try to help my mom. Just bear with me, y'all. I'm really trying. So I wrote some things down so I can keep my thoughts and I won't forget anything. My mom, I don't know if you can see my mom was battling cancer. She doesn't have the strength right now to speak to you all. And it's very difficult for her right now, emotionally and physically. It's been a difficult time for us because we love our brother Charles, and my mom needs him. Charles has always been the glue to our family. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, my brother didn't know. I'm sorry, y'all. We kept all this from my brother, and we definitely didn't want him to find out like this. Charles have been the glue to this family, even behind bars. Our brother was the glue. Through many difficult family situations, he has been able to pass his own situation and provide for us all. Please let me just get through this. Mama, please. Please, just let me get through this. Charles always been a person, no matter what. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Charles always made us laugh when we all was not having a great day, not knowing actually what was going on with Mom. Whenever Charles' name would come up, even to this day, with family and friends, we still smile because we all love him so much. Charles has always been a business person with big dreams of owning his own business. He has never been a non-active person. always working hard and determined to be somebody in life. His work ethic is something we all still to this day admire about him. He always had big dreams. He had always been a person of strength for our family. He instilled in us all to always work hard for whatever you want in life and never give up. He showed this through his own actions. Again, being behind the jail cell. What I know for sure is if my brother is free, no, when my brother is let go and able to walk out this place, he will continue that path and continue to go to be there for our family. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get when my mom
I need
started.
you to wrap it up for us.
Okay,
We're out of
well, let me get to this part. I'm asking you all, please give us all another chance to be with him. Please give us all. Please give my brother a chance to care and be there for my mom. Please give him another chance to fill the hole that has been vacant for so many years within our hearts and our family. Please give him another chance just for us to be together before my mom leaves this earth. We all are imperfect. Please let me just finish. We all are
We're out of time, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all so much.
Right, we need to hear from Ms. Baptiste. Ms. Baptiste, we're ready to hear from you. You have to unmute your microphone. Can you figure out how to do that? There you
Yes.
go. Good.
Hello. My name is Thelma Baptiste. And the first thing I would like to do is to tell you how difficult my life has been since this happened to me. I had 2 sons. My oldest son has passed away. But when this happened to me, they both required therapy. I cannot account for all of the surgeries that I've had. They are endless. The pain that I endured and suffered still to this day. My only wish is for Charles's mother to not suffer because my mom died with cancer. After this happened to me, I allowed Ms. Butler to come to my door. Well, at first she started doing it on her own. She would come to my house, ring my doorbell, stand on my porch, and constantly apologize for her son. My therapist told me to stop her from doing that. I did not. I allowed her to do it because I know it gave her some solace and some peace. But I told her I never blamed her. Never. I never blamed their family. I blamed Charles Butler because he had every opportunity not to do what he did. When he drove to my house, when he called my phone at least 15 times to say he was coming, and no, he had no more belongings inside of my home. That's a lie. When he kicked my front door in, when he doused me with that stuff, the gas, when he lit me on fire, those are many, many, many opportunities he had not to do it, and he chose to do it. I am fearful for my life still to this day. I cannot look at an open flame. I still have nightmares. His mother lives 10 minutes from my house. 10 minutes. So can you imagine if you let him out? You don't think he's gonna want an opportunity to pass around here, do drive-bys and see what I'm doing? We don't know what kind of feelings are gonna come up into his mind. Just like the feelings that came up into his mind when he did this to me. So I am in opposition for you all releasing him. I am fearful for my life. My youngest son is 35 years old. When I told him what I had to do today, he hung his head down and started crying. He was very young. The day before this happened, I had 12 little boys here at my house sleeping for my son's birthday. And if those kids had been here when this man set me on fire, could you imagine? But God was with me that they were not there that day. God was with me when I survived this horrible thing he did to me. And I'm asking you all to consider the things that I'm saying. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you for your courage to be here with us today and speak to us. Very helpful. Thank you. Mr. Butler, is there a statement you'd like to make to us, the board, before we vote? If you have a statement, make it address it to us.
Well, I just, again, I'm sorry for all the pain I caused. Again, I can't explain what kind of pain she went through. And I'm very sorry for my actions on that night. If you ask me, you can't make no excuse because I created a victim when I did that. No matter what I was trying to do, I created a victim. And I caused that lady great pain with Thermal-Baptiste. I caused her family pain. Well, I'm sure had to redirect their lives to take care of her. I'm sorry for her kid. I had no idea what happened. And LeGarry, strong fellow. I hope he continue to be strong with mama. But again, I had no idea, but I always did. From the time I turned myself in, to accept the responsibility of what happened once I had found out what happened. I accepted the responsibility, gave my statement, and haven't deviated from trial or whatever. Kept the same. I did that. I created that victim. Ms. Thermal-Baptiste, I'm sorry for that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think we are prepared to vote. Mrs. Jackson will be voting first.
Now, Mr. Butler, all of the cases that we hear on pardon day are very different cases. They all involve very horrible facts. They all involve victims. You have accomplished some good things, and I'm glad to see that. I've already gone over your disciplinary record and your program. But when I weigh the fact that you served a little over 20 years with a lifetime of pain and suffering that Ms. Baptiste is going to have, her adamant opposition It's just the horrible, horrible nature of this crime. I don't believe that at 20 years is sufficient to pay for the harm that you caused. I want to encourage you to keep working, keep doing things at the facility that benefit not only yourself, but others. And your day will come, but it's just not today. So my vote is to deny. Thank you. Mr. Roosevelt.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Butler, I don't need to repeat the reasons why I'm voting is exactly the same as Mrs. Jackson. Insufficient time, victim opposition, nature of the crime. I deny your request.
Thank you, Mr. Roach. Mr. Marabella.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Butler, my vote is the same for the same reasons.
Mr. Freeman.
I also concur in my vote for the same reason.
So, Mr. Butler, you've received 4 votes to deny your application for clemency today, so your application, sir, has been denied. Thanks to everybody who process.
The victim, Miss Batiste, wow, she is a hero. I don't think I have seen or heard a stronger woman, forget just on this show, but in general, period. Unreal how she stood up there the whole time and then gave one of the better speeches, one of the better victim statements that brought me to tears, really. What courage. I mean, what strength. We can learn a lot from a woman like that. We really can. Meanwhile, that man is so clueless. It was a long interview, but you can almost forget the beginning, how he gives his example of what he learned in class. And that example he gave was just like, I just wanted to jump on the screen. I couldn't believe it. But I'm happy that Miss Jackson was the one to take this case, because the way that she handles it, and then the way that his family, I feel bad for his parents. They seem like good people. And then to hear the story, how his mother would come and ring the bell and apologize. Can you imagine? And then the victim said her therapist told her to stop it, but she didn't. What a woman. What a person, what a human, what a strong person. But the family, they came up, and the speech was so bad and rambling. Typically when someone gets up and says, I'm not one for speeches, you're in for a speech. I don't know why it is that way. But she's crying. She made it all about her, and she made it all about their situation and all about them, and it was so shameless. You must have felt, as the victim, being alone on that Zoom call when they have their family sitting there behind them and all the screens. Hold on.
All right.
And and for her to to be there alone by herself, but to stand there with such confidence and strength really is. What a I don't know, someone like that, he seemed clueless. I couldn't imagine letting him out. Are you kidding me? It's like even how he was referring to her, and then he lied about the whole thing. Can you imagine the horror of having your door kicked down, gasoline thrown, and you light? And she talks about just that morning, her, what was it, 12-year-old son or 8-year-old little boy was having a birthday party with his friends sleeping over. Can you imagine how quickly a life can change? And the analogy Miss Jackson gave, just, you ever burn your finger on the stovetop? How much that hurts? And it can hurt for like days. What it did to her kids, the therapy they needed. You have to be a different kind of evil to do that to someone, a different kind of evil. And then a whole nother different kind of evil to get up there and lie about it. And just the whole thing was, I'm just happy for the outcome, and also just amazed by the strength of that woman. I'm just amazed.